Okay, so today we have 8 people here total, including myself, and let's start. Okay, so today's topic is going to be over sugar, as you can tell by the title. Specifically, I'm going to be covering the ins and outs of sugar, ideally to discourage you from using sugar as an additive, or also to overly snack on foods high in sugar. Also, over the past month, I've done research through the American Dental Association, the United States Department of Agriculture, and also the American Physiological Society in order to get a better understanding over sugar itself. And my mouse is not working.
You want to start over?
No, it's fine. So here we have 3 different monosaccharides, which are very simple sugars, also carbohydrates. And the bottom 2 are disaccharides. In this case, slightly more complicated sugars, but still carbohydrates nonetheless. The reason I bring those up, those compose all the different types of sugars that we like to refer to. Sugars, in general, all break down the same inside of the human body. Here, I have kind of an excerpt from the U.S. Department of Agriculture covering sugar and what it offers. As you can see, there are no sort of nutritional benefits to sugar whatsoever. In fact, the only thing that it does offer is empty calories. Moreover, I have a list of some things that we more than likely indulge in, things that sugar is very common in. In this case, again, during this presentation, my overall aim is to get you to eliminate those foods and avoid sugar as an additive. Here we have a study from the Hebrew University. They had 2 different groups of rats. One was a control group. The second group was fed a very high amount of sugar in every one of their meals. In this case, we can see here samples that were taken from their actual livers. The samples of a normal rat should have been around 150. In this case, the triglycerides inside this rat were nearly up to 350. Here we have the cholesterol, 200, and the sample group with the sugar diets, 370. What this equates to is high fat around the liver itself. Fatty liver disease is what will result from that if the fat is sustained long enough. In this case, fatty liver disease occurs when fat, more fat than normal, is built up around the liver. Typical amount of fat around the liver is somewhere between 5 to 8%. Once you exceed 8%, you've gone over that threshold, and it can lead to things such as cirrhosis. The way that this happens, the fat finds its way into the crevices around the liver, and over time, those fatty crevices turn into scar tissue. And as the liver begins to scar, some people know the liver can't repair itself, so you end up with large amounts of scar tissue around the liver, leading to cirrhosis, liver failure, and ultimately possibly death by liver failure. Secondly, sugar causes inflammation. Once you eat a very highly enriched meal full of sugar, you can have very large insulin spikes. These insulin spikes lead to inflammation in different areas of the body, including sinus areas, your windpipe, and your actual breathing, arthritis inside your wrists, different parts of the body, your joints, and even in your wrists for carpal tunnel. The thing that I didn't mention though is Alzheimer's. How does it relate to Alzheimer's? Well, inside the brain, you have synapses, and then you have neurons that carry those electrical signals to the brain in order for you to function and, in this case, remember things. As insulin starts to build throughout those synapses, it starts to damage the neurons on either side. After that's done, the synapses no longer carry the electrical signal, and it's very hard for a person to remember things. Lastly, we'll talk about sugar and plaque and the effects of sugar on teeth. Here we see a tooth that is beginning to form a layer of plaque on the top of it. Sugar doesn't specifically cause plaque, but rather it acts as a very large deposit that the plaque can feed on and multiply. As the plaque begins to grow and multiply, it leads to discoloration on the teeth, and as the actual plaque breaks down the sugar, it releases uric acid. And the uric acid, as it starts to eat away at the tooth itself, creates tooth decay. So, very simply put, avoiding sugar additives can reduce the amount of damage that a person deals to their liver, to their brain, and also to their teeth. So kind of as a note to leave you on. I highly encourage you to reduce the amount of sugar inside of your diet and also the amount of snacks that you take in between meals.